Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cosmopolitan Velour channel. Can you guys believe it? It's month 7, July, and the birthstone of the month is Ruby. So to all my May babies out, to all my July babies out there, happy birthday. I hope that you had or will have a wonderful, happy, and healthy birthday. And if you're interested in how I got this look, then please keep on watching. Hi guys, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. For today's lip treatment, I'm gonna be using the FENTY Gloss Bomb and in the color Fussy. I don't know where all my other lip colors are right at the moment, so I'm just gonna stick this on really quick. We're going to be using the Live Tinted Hue Guard as our primer today. I actually really like this. I've heard of Live Tinted. I hadn't had any products from them. However, this is a primer that has FPS in it, and it's mineral SPF. So just to give a few details about it, it's an all-in-one daily non-nano zinc mineral sunscreen moisturizer and primer that protects skin from harmful UVA and UVB rays. This innovative ultra lightweight formula blends seamlessly into the skin, giving a natural glow with 0% white cast, making it perfect for all skin tones. So I wanted to try this out because one of the biggest things with sunscreen is that it can leave a white cast behind if you're a person with a deeper skin complexion, and that's not necessarily like somebody with super rich chocolate skin. Even on somebody of my complexion, and it comes out as this yellow mustard color, so even somebody of my complexion, I have used different types of SPF, and even on my skin I could see a white cast. So I was excited to try this when it came out. I think I was on somebody's page on Instagram kind of scrolling through, and I saw it, or either I got a notification, I can't remember now, excuse me, and I was like, oh, let me try this. So many people I know use the color correctors from Live Tinted, so when this came out, I really wanted to give it a try. I don't color correct on myself, so I hadn't purchased it, but outside of that, I've always heard good things about Live Tinted, so I really wanted to try this. And I've been trying to do better about incorporating SPF into my regimen, even though we're not going outside as much now. People are getting back into the swing of things, and so when I do start going back to work and being more active outside of the home, I do want to already be in a routine of using sunscreen, because I do burn. When I went on a cruise to Mexico, that was the first time I ever got sunburned in my life. Like, I was going by that rule, like, if you are black, you don't get sunburned. That is a lie, because I was burned up. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't use sunscreen then. It wasn't anything that I was told that I needed to use, and so my skin was peeling, and I was like, why is my skin peeling? I had no idea that I had been sunburned. So that's the only time I've ever been sunburned. However, I do get sunburned. So yeah, so having experienced it, I was like, oh, this is a no for me. Absolute no. So going on with that, because it's warm outside, I'm not really wearing a lot of foundations. I'm more into skin tints right now. So we're going to be using the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. So that's what we'll be using today. I'm just going to shake it up. And Ilia is a clean brand at Sephora. I hadn't really heard too much about them. But one thing I do like about this skin tint, it has niacinamide, squalene, and hyaluronic acid in it. So skin loving ingredients that will give you hydration. So I think the color has lightened up since I got it. I've had this for a while and I hadn't used it. But when I put it on my skin, it was a match. So I'm concerned that this is so light right now. We'll proceed. I'm a little concerned. So I'm just gonna press this into the skin. And a part of me is feeling like I might want to take this off because, yeah, I'm not a fan. This is too light. This is the color Mugwort or Morgot, but yeah, this is too light. So I'm gonna wash this off and I'm gonna come back with something else. All right, you guys. So I'm back after washing my face. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use other products today. Live Tinted, I will cycle back and wear that again up under some foundation first, because I'm not really familiar with using products that have SPF already built into them. So I'm not necessarily 100% familiar about layering them on top of each other. I know, like, as far as your skincare and then putting an SPF on top of it is fine, but as far as like using a primer with SPF and then going on top of it with a skin tint or a foundation that has SPF in it, I don't know if those will actually work well with each other. And I don't know if it was just because the color was off that it was throwing me off or whatnot. But yeah, so that might be a learning curve if you plan to get the Ilia skin tint. You may want to go up a shade than what you might be recommended, like on Sephora. If you go through the Beauty IQ, it will give you a recommendation for foundation. That was the recommendation for mine. And so I think because it has SPF in it, SPF tends to make things run a little bit lighter. So you may need to go up a shade from what it's recommending you, just to make sure you kind of to make sure that you're accounting for the fact that it does have SPF in it. Now, like I said, I've had that product for a while, and clean beauty brands tend not to have a shelf life that is as long as beauty items from brands that are not deemed as clean, because they use different products. So most of the time, anything that's deemed as a clean beauty brand or a vegan beauty brand or whatever the case may be, they use ingredients that are natural. So we all know things that are natural have a shorter lifespan because there's no preservatives in the item to assist with longevity, versus things that are not marketed as clean or vegan, they have things that help with the longevity of the product. So I don't think I've had that product for a year, but I know it's been a couple of months, maybe 6 months or so since I had it. So I just don't know. It could be a lot of things. When I first got it, the color did seem to match, but again, that would have been in the winter months when I was lighter, so it could have been a perfect match then. I don't know. It could be a mixture of things. So yep, I got the Daydream Cushion Foundation from Cosmetics in the color Summer Hue. So I got the refill. I didn't get the full set, which is with the compact and 2 refills. I just got the refill by itself, and that was because they only had, I believe, 6 colors to choose from, and it looked like I would be in between 2 colors, and so I did not want to pay for a compact and 2 refills to have 2 refills of the same color if it didn't match. So I just decided to purchase the refill. Now, the refill does not come with the compact itself, and on the website you cannot purchase the compact alone. So it's really set up for you to buy like the initial compact with the 2 refills, and then if you need any further refills after that, to use that same compact. So what I did is I went on Amazon and purchased just a general compact, the empty compact, to put the refill inside of. And so there weren't any that were like an exact size match. So what I ended up doing, that's why my container is blue, and while the compact was this blue color, it was just a compact that I bought on Amazon. I ended up taking the actual sponge out of the original Cosmetics refill and putting the sponge inside the compact that comes with the container that comes inside the compact, and then just putting the sponge on top of it. So it's still a bit small. So that's one of the things that I'm kind of sad about, is that you can't purchase the compact itself by itself. So if you drop it or break it or something like that, you would have to buy the whole set all over again versus just replacing the compact alone. So that's one of the downsides of it. But with all that being said, because I was in between 2 colors, I wasn't sure which one to get, so I decided just to get a refill of 1 color, and then instead of being out $40+, I would only be out $28 instead if I get the wrong color, because I don't return stuff. So yeah. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and apply, and this has quite a lot of good ingredients in it. It has SPF 50 in it. It was made in Korea, so Korea and other Asian countries use cushion foundations that's more popular overseas in Asian countries than it is here in the US, where we use liquid and powder foundation. They use cushion foundations. Typically, cushion foundations will give you a more natural look, a more skin-like look, which is the aesthetic overseas, versus here in the US, the general aesthetic has been more full coverage. Due to the pandemic, I think that ideology behind having full coverage makeup has kind of gone out the window and is not the current trend right now. However, that is how Western makeup is viewed. So with that being said, this has goji berry, rice water, green tea leaf, if I remember correctly. So it has a lot of skin loving ingredients in it that will help with skin texture, smoothing, health of the skin, and so forth and so on. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to try it. And I was just generally curious about all the hype around cushion foundations, because here in the US, hardly anybody made cushion foundations, and if you are a person with any hint of melanin in your skin, you're not going to get a cushion, period. It's just not going to exist. Melanin is not that's not it for cushion foundations. So and I'm nowhere near the deeper range of skin complexions, but even for me in my complexion, it wouldn't be a cushion for my complexion. So so I do apply M Cosmetics and Michelle Phan for even having colors deep enough for me and even people who are deeper than my complexion to actually have an option to choose from. With that being said, I do know that she's an independent company. She doesn't have the backing of like a larger company. So the fact that they only have 6 colors, I can excuse me, I can forgive, because she has not been a company that's been established for 10 years. She's not a company that's been established for 8 years. I'm not even sure she's been established for 5. If I remember correctly, she may only be at the 3-year mark, maybe less than that. So, being able to fund directly out of your pocket, I can understand it being a smaller range of foundation colors. I do hope in the future that there will be an expansion of colors, but she does have, I would say, at least 2 color deeper skin tones, and then this shade can stretch to meet some more excuse me, people. So definitely very small, but in overall there's not a lot to pick from the company overall. So it's not an extravagant or large brand where they have hundreds, or even, I don't even at this point, if they have 50 products in their lineup, that's probably pushing it. I haven't been on the website and counted how many products they have, but if they have 50 in their arsenal at this point, that would be pushing it. So anywho, enough about that. So so I took out the original packaging and put it into a compact that I bought on Amazon. And excuse me, I had just I had to re-record this video several times because I wanted to make sure the information that I was stating was accurate. So I had to go back and look at the website to ensure that the information that I was stating to you was correct. So I've had to refilm this several times. Anywho, so this is what the compact looks like on half of my face here. So it's on this half, and then this is the side of my face that doesn't have any product on it at all. And I can see a big difference in my skin to a certain extent. The color, and I'll get up very closely so I don't know if you can see that line going down right here. The color is not off hardly at all, no more than any foundation would be. And I think that's the beauty of a skin cushion and skin tints, is that they're not necessarily meant to be an exact shade match. They're meant to be able to expand over several complexions. So with that being said, to me, this is almost like a foundation match to me. Even though this is considered a cushion foundation, I still would think of this more as like a skin tint. Because when I look down here, my hyperpigmentation is not 100% covered. I can tell that it's giving it some coverage, as it's not as pronounced, but it's not like a 100% full coverage. However, I do like the fact that I feel like my skin looks very even with this on. Yeah, I don't have any negative complaints about it. It's very lightweight on the skin. Like, I feel like I have absolutely nothing on my face at all. And I did not put any primer on. I literally just took the puff and went in to the sponge or the cushion and just pressed it in there. And I just went in and pressed it into the skin. So I'm getting used to this puff here. I don't know if I'm supposed to like spread my fingers open to hold it, or I don't know. So it's a little I don't know, it's a little weird for me. I'm not exactly sure. But what I will say is whatever material this puff is made out of is not exactly the same as what I've seen in other compacts. It feels very microfiber like in a sense. So on the website have um, they do have instructions for this particular puff. It was made to be um, antimicrobacterial. So it was made with the thought of actually washing this puff to get multiple uses and extend the longevity of it. So that's one thing I will say that I do like. And I do feel like with this particular puff that it's helping the product melt well into the skin than I would with a typical puff. Because most of the time, people don't necessarily use the puff that comes inside the compact unless you're out on the go and you need a retouch. But I feel like typically at home you don't see people like using the actual puff inside the compact. They have their own special sponge or brush or a different type of compact to use. And so I haven't added any more product, and I actually really like this because even though I've dipped into this cushion, I would say about 4 times to pick up the product and press it into my skin, this doesn't look super dirty. You can see it's residue on there, but it's not absorbing the product like it usually would into the puffs. Usually when you have the puffs inside the compacts, they just look like they're holding all types of bacteria in it because it's absorbing so much of the product. This is super thin. You can see it's super thin, so it's almost like it makes the product stay on top of the puff, and it doesn't hardly absorb any of it into the puff. And so I'll get up close so you guys can see. So I put on another layer. You saw me put it on there, and this area of discoloration here is more covered up than it was before. So I would say it's buildable coverage. I would say at most this is medium coverage, and I'm fine with that. I don't expect a cushion foundation to give me full coverage because that's not how a cushion foundation is supposed to work. It's supposed to give you a skin-like finish. But I must say that I have no qualms about the color match for this. I do like the fact that it has SPF 50 in it, which is extremely high for a foundation. I think the most that I've heard in a foundation is 30, 35. So 50 is really good. As it looks right now, now I haven't worn this out, so this is like my first try with this. But seeing as how I didn't put any primer on, like I literally washed my face from the Ilia item and put this on, dried off my face. I didn't even put on a moisturizer or anything because I was like, I don't want to mess or jack anything up. I wanted to be able to see what the color was going to be on my skin without any primer or anything up under it. And I have to say, I think this is a fantastic color match for me. I would wear it again. I legitimately don't feel like I have anything on my face at all. Like no lotion, no coverage, nothing. My skin doesn't feel tight or anything like that. I just feel like I have nothing on my skin. So it's extremely, extremely lightweight. So far so good. I'm impressed with it. All right, so moving on to concealer, we'll be using the Kimchi Chic Cosmetics the most concealer, and I have the color Sand. And so I was watching Nicole Concealio's channel to come by this concealer, and I was just super curious about it. So I ordered it, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this area up under my eye dry down some, and I'll go in and do press in the other areas where the concealer is into the skin. And I'm curious to see how these other products will melt into the skin on top of the M Cosmetics. But I definitely think this would be something I would wear as opposed to foundation in the summertime so far. Now the foundation, it does have a smell. It's not a lingering smell, but it is a fragrance in it. But as of right now, I'm not getting any irritation from the fragrance, so that's a plus, and it's no longer there. All right, so I'm just pressing it into the skin. So going back to the concealer up under my eyes. So today's look, what I'm thinking is what I would probably wear if I went to go see the fireworks or something outside. Something festive and exciting. And one of the tricks that I saw is to use your concealer to help you with your contour. So I don't know if you guys notice, is that when I have my concealer, I bring it all the way over onto like my nose bridge over here. Because typically when you go in and contour your nose, you're going down this little strip here. So if you already have some of the concealer pushed over, when you do your contour lines, you'll get an even more defined bridge on your nose if you're looking to have a more contoured nose look. So little tips and tricks here and there that make things a bit easier. Okay, so now that we're highlighted, I will move on to setting the face, and I'm going to use my LYS Triple Fix Set Translucent Setting Powder in the color Brilliance or Banana. I'm just gonna go back in with my sponge here and pick up some product on the sponge and then just press it into the skin. And one of the things I like about this powder is that it's yellow. So even if my concealer that I use might be a little bit too light, or the coloring is not exactly as flattering as I want it to be, because my powder is yellow, it can go in and give me the color that's more complementary to my skin. Yellow for my complexion is more complementary than a translucent or a white powder, or even clear. And you can see just how airbrushed I look, and I don't feel like the concealer that I used before, which I felt like was, you could definitely tell there was a contrast. I don't feel it's as bright as it was before. And I tend not to necessarily like a bright highlight or a bright contour, except for when I have on a dramatic eye. And since we're going for a dramatic eye today, that would be appropriate. But if I have on like a neutral or a brown eye. I don't necessarily want my under eyes to be super highlighted. So I'm just going in and powdering in the areas where we applied concealer to. And if you have deeper skin, this would be considered like reverse contouring. For people with deeper skin tones, a lot of times they don't necessarily have a contour color that's deep enough to be an actual contour or a bronzer, so they have to use powder to go in and give the effect of being contoured based on a lighter powder. So that's that. All right, so for today's contour, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Bronzer in Caramel Cutie. And you can tell that this is so well loved. Ooh, me. And I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty 190 bronzer brush. And I really like this brush because I love the way it hugs the cheeks. Just like that. And I just go around the perimeter with the excess. This brush always gives me perfect placement. And with the excess, just go around the perimeter. And bronze it up. And so I'm just going to go back into the LYS translucent powder, and I'm using a BH Cosmetics number 1 big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to buff over my skin. And so I do this for me because I sweat profusely. So I need to have the extra powder just as assistance to try to make my makeup last longer if I sweat. And so now what I'm going to do, now I'm just going to spray the bottom of my beauty sponge. This is the Beauty Bakery sponge with the Beauty Bakery Sweet Grace Setting Spray. And I'm just going to press, ooh, how about I not spray myself? I'm just going to press all of this into my skin. I feel like I could have went a little bit deeper. I have the color Cocoa Naughty. Which is deeper than Cutie. Caramel Cutie, the one that I used. And so I might go in with that later after I do my eye look to see if I want to intensify it some. Go in with the Fenty Beauty Amplifying Eye Primer. And it's been on my mind to do a heavy eyeliner look. Not really heavy with eyeshadow, but more with the eyeliner. So we'll see how that goes today. All right. Okay. And now for today's star of the show. The BH Cosmetics Ruby for July 7 eye color palette, or excuse me, 7 shadow palette. And this is what the color looks like. Now, funny thing, I don't know anybody born in the month of July that I can think of off the top of my head. But one thing I immediately noticed is that this ruby color looks pink to me. So I'll go ahead and swatch. So we'll start out with ruby. And this looks fuchsia to me. This doesn't look ruby at all. I'll probably use this as the blush color for today, because it's not ruby at all. Then we'll go into the color here, Sparkly. Looks like a gold champagne color. Yep. Then we'll go into the color Honest here. Okay. And then this color here looks like a pinky red, Fun Girl. This red down here called Witty. Re-swipe that again. That again looks very, very pink. Okay, then the color Proud up here, this brown color. Okay, yep, that's brown. And then Drama Queen, which is the sparkle color for this month. I'm gonna drop that right in there. So to me, that is the only true red that we have in this palette. Y'all, I don't like this palette at all. At all. None of the colors in here, anything that's supposed to be red is not a true red. They're all pink undertone reds except Drama Queen, which is the glitter color. When I had looked at this, I was going to use the color Witty as the eyeliner color. But in all honesty, looking at these swatches, I'm going to have to use the glitter color as the eyeliner color. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Honest as an all over lid color, because this palette is a little bit hard to use, and for these tutorials I only use the colors in the pan. I don't go out to a different eyeshadow pan in order to do these looks. So they only have really like two transition or like assistant colors, which is Honest, which is this color right here, and then Proud. And that's not really a transition color, so to speak. It's kind of like a smoky or darkening color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fluffy brush. I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics number 6 brush. And so this is a fluffy brush. I don't want this Honest color down here. I don't want it to be too pigmented on my lid. I want it to be more so of just like a wash of color, so my eyelid itself is not bare. So that's why I'm using a fluffier brush to thin out the color a little bit. And I'll just zoom in. I have to say, even when I got this palette, when I opened it up and looked at the colors, I just didn't, it wasn't doing it for me. And a lot of these are not necessarily colors that I work with or more familiar with. Definitely, I don't wear red eyeshadow at all. Every now and then you might get a burgundy from me, and that's usually more in the fall, Christmas time range, because I may want to do like a wine or plum color, but that's about it. So I'm gonna go into the color Drama Queen over here, And I'm going to, let me go ahead and spray my brush with some setting spray. So we can do, I'm thinking graphic liner. And so I want to go ahead and get it right the first time. So when I pick up this on my brush, I'm not taking forever to do the liner. And I'm only going to do, well, I was going to say I'm only going to do one eye on camera just for the sake of time. Graphic liners tend to take a little bit longer. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is having to go into Fun Gal and doing the graphic liner with Fun Gal, and then going in over that with glitter, because I don't think this is going to be able to pick up the glitter, and I don't have an adhesive other than lash glue. Let's see how that works. Okay, that's probably how I should have started. Is using lash glue as an adhesive, because that will cut down the time dramatically. Yeah, I probably should have used the other color instead. So, not a problem. I will just start over. Now, starting over, so I just removed everything and put the eyeshadow primer back on my eye. I'm just going back in with this transition color. On this eye. And this eye over here was pretty good. This one I didn't have to take too much off of. So we'll rethink that plan. Even with using lash glue as an adhesive, even if I had like an actual glitter adhesive, I just don't think that glitter is meant to be able to be used just like, well, it should be able to be used, but as I was saying before, some eyeshadows are just not as easy to manipulate, and that's okay. That's okay. You learn how to fix your mistakes if you need to start over and what not to do the next time. So that's something, you know, that I'll take as a learning experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to use the Precision Liner brush, and by Colored Rain, I'm going to spray it, and I'm actually going to go into the color Witty right here, this red color, and I'm actually going to do the liner with that color instead. I will have more control with that, and I'll just use the glitter as a highlight color. I don't think Witty is even going to be dark enough, so let me go into Fun Gal and try that. There we go. All right, so essentially that's mixing Witty and Fun Gal together. We'll go and do the same on the other eye. I actually like that quite a lot. I'm just going to go into the color Proud, that brown color, and go over it. Just so we can have some depth to that color and that is more pronounced. And for some people, this might seem, you know, a little annoying to have to go back and try to fix things, but this is what makeup is. Some of the best trends come from things not working out exactly how you expect them to. All right, and so I'm just gonna go into Sparkly, which is that gold color, and pick some of that up, and let's see. I think I want to fill in the inside just so we can have some type of spark going on. And so I'm just going into the inner corner with the color Witty. I won't fib to you guys. I'm really struggling with this palette this time around. I don't feel like any of these colors are packing the punch that I wanted them to. Like, I was honestly expecting one of these colors to be so red that it was going to stain. Like, it was going to be so pigmented that you'd be able to see it from a mile away, but that's not the case for these at all. Even the gold champagne color blended in, and I went in off camera when I was trying to clean up to go over those colors again, and that gold color is just very lightweight. It's not an intense gold. So I'm just taking that gold color, going over Witty, trying to give it some spark, and it's just not doing it. It's not giving me what I need it to give right now. So it's only so much you can do. This is still a look, but I'm just gonna take one last try at the glitter color. Excuse me. And I'm just gonna try to get that to go up under my lower lash line, at least. See how that works. And I don't think I'm going to do my whole bottom lash line. Well, maybe. Let's see how far we can get. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's probably going to be a lot of this tutorial that probably gets cut out. Because the video would just be way too long if I didn't edit some of it out, because I'd be cleaning and tight lining and trying to move this glitter around all on camera. This video will be like 2.5 hours long. So one of the reasons my video is so long is because I like showing you guys like the process of doing some of these more complicated looks. When people put glitter on their channels, it's like, oh, I put on glitter adhesive and then put it on top of it, and the video is only like 20 minutes. And that's not the case, because you have to really work to build glitter up with some products. Then with others it's easier, but with some of them it's not that easy. So this side came out better. Than this side did. Okay, you guys, I think that's the best that we're gonna get for this. Yeah, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead with this palette, and I'm just going to put on some false lashes. Today I'm going to be using Lily Lashes in Paris. You can see I've already used these, but these are one of my favorite lashes that I like to wear from Lily Lashes. So I'm just going to put those on. Alright, so I finally got the lashes on. This is the final look that we have for the eyes. So we're gonna move on immediately to blush, and like I said before, I'm just going to use the ruby color in the palette, and this palette has so much fallout, like it's glitter everywhere. And that's gonna be our blush color. And I'm just using a BH Cosmetics. This is the number 4 from the It's My Ray Ray collection. Yeah, this is super pink. I'm glad I decided to use it as a blush. All right. And then last but not least, we're going to do lip color. And so I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Stunner Lip Paint, and this is the color Uncensored. It's red. So July is all about ruby red. While I think my eyes are giving off like pink vibes, the only thing that I feel like I'm actually going to have on is red. Is my lip color today. So we shall go with that. And I'm just going to use the It's My Ray Ray number 9 pencil with BH Cosmetics. And I'm just going to take this Stunner Lip Paint. And I'm just going to wipe it on the back of my hand here. And the reason I do this, and this is my own tube, and even or my own Stunner Lip Paint. And the reason I do this is because the actual Stunner Lip Paint applicator comes with so much product on it. Like, you can see how pigmented this is when I'm literally, it dries down matte, but before it dries down, I'm transferring it into a brush and it's almost dry, and I'm still able to pick up product to put on my lips. That's how pigmented these Stunner paints are. And I have learned over the years, especially with this color because it was the first one to come out, that if you apply directly from the applicator, it has so much product on it. If you do not wipe off some of that product, it will be so hard for it to dry down. It will take forever for it to dry down. I have, when this first came out, I remember buying it and I put the whole applicator on my lips, and I knew it was supposed to dry down as a matte, and it took forever to dry down, and I was blotting my lips and everything, and I just didn't realize that the applicator itself has so much product on it that it will take forever to dry down. So then I started wiping off the well inside, you know, to me, this is, I consider this to like an old school fountain pen where you have to dip the quill into the ink. That's what I think of this, and how I use it. And when they would take the feather out or the quill out, they would rub off the excess ink into the well. So I started doing that with the applicator, and it was still too much on the applicator. So after that, I started wiping it, like literally taking the applicator and wiping it on the back of my hand and taking a brush and picking up what I needed to apply. And that's how I was able to get to this state where I'm able to take a brush, apply it, I can blot, it'll be dried down, and I won't have any residue or wait like 20 minutes for it to dry down. So so this is the final look. So we got something. It definitely wasn't what I planned on. It wasn't the look I was going for, but it's still a look nonetheless. I was looking for something more extravagant, but the color payoff just wasn't there for this particular palette. So if you purchase this palette, if you're a July baby, I would say, you know, if you want something for your birthday, something dedicated to your birthstone, you know, to purchase it, but just know that it's not really true reds. It's pink reds, and that the color payoff for this palette is not high. So you're not going to get intense colors like that. Now, if you're fine with it not being a true red, and when I say like a true red, like a blue red, like my lipstick red, then by all means, you know, go out and purchase it. But if your expectation was like mine, where I expected there to be a lipstick, well, an eyeshadow color that was the same color as this lipstick in the palette, and I was thinking it would be the ruby color, then you will be disappointed. So with that, give me 1 second while I come back with everything together. All right, you guys, this is the final look. What do you think? All right, so as always, happy birthday to my July babies. I hope that you all have or will have a wonderful, happy, and healthy day. Please stay safe. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting my channel thus far. Please like and subscribe below if you like this content. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. And until the next time, which will be month 8, we're over halfway done with the year, you guys. Time flies. So until I see you next month, take care, be safe. Bye.